Sometimes we're trying to impress too many people at different tables or in different rooms. Now I'm trying to build my own house.
Facts.
I don't want to sit your table in your room. I'm building my house.
A lot of the times when I'm behind the camera and I was recording courses and things like that, I'm listening to what they're saying, man. I'm getting front row of a $10,000 program, man. Yep. And I'm there like shaking my hand and I'm like all pumped up and they're like, damn, man, like your fucking energy just makes me also want to perform better on camera. I'm like, okay, hell yeah, let's go.
Everyone's looking for life hacks, but you've lived everything.
Yeah.
And if you're paying attention to the lessons that you learn along the way, use life. What personal experience did you use? Mm-hmm. Don't depend on the hack or the AI. Use it for kind of some structure to get an idea of where to go, and then put what makes you valuable into the situation.
At the end of the day, like even going through all that, you still have the excitement of I get to do this. Mm-hmm. I think that's what's lacking in today's generation because you get such instant gratification.
Yeah.
People with the ego based off the following or what you feel like you've done in life, you don't want to carry the crates.
Right.
When I got started in my journey as a videographer, I was the one following the big end entrepreneurs. So I often say, just shut the fuck up and learn and learn.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the rawest corner of the culture, where fitness meets fashion, money meets mindset.
Fitness, I gotta go.
And we all got something going on. The No Days Offline podcast with myself, Niko, T, and Costa. Yes, and we are episode, you know I'm gonna forget it.
16.
16.
Yeah.
You know, yesterday 16. We just had us in the studio. Pretty good time. You know, we had some good conversations. We talked about legacy. We talked a lot about legacy.
Yeah, man, that was some good questionings there.
Yeah, I think we had some good conversations. A lot for the audience to take part in. But you know, today
we're excited for this one, man. Do your thing. Yeah, let them know.
You know, we were chopping it up off camera. The vibes are all good, man. I call him a Phoenix legend, man.
Oh damn.
You know, really. Was it what you said? 26 years in radio.
Yeah.
You know,
26 years.
Doing a lot of big things. We go back a ways, but my boy Crisco, man. Yeah. Crisco's in the building today, man.
Thank y'all for having me.
Crisco, the reason why I asked if you were actually here in the Phoenix area is because I moved 7 years ago. Well, not 7 now, 10. God damn, man.
It goes quick, right?
I moved like 10 years ago here in Phoenix, and I remember Crisco Kidd, but I wasn't sure if you were the one. So you are the one.
Yeah. So it's weird because like I got here 4th of July, 2016 was my first day, and I moved here from Dallas, and I remember driving in, and it was and I remember this vividly when we talked about earlier, like off mic, like man, I remember sometimes there are certain little things that I remember about meeting people or events, and I remember it just driving in from Dallas. Probably went 20 degrees hotter easily. And I remember once I was passing Tucson by the outlets and everything, I'm coming up, I'm like, damn, did I make the right move? It's so hot. I'm coming in. I tried to take a nap if I was driving straight, and I couldn't even take a nap in the car. Yeah. And it was just getting hot and hot, but I'll never forget that day. So to think like it's almost 9 years, right? I'm almost at 10 years. So it goes by so quick. Yeah. And there'll be people that I run into that are like, man, I listened to you growing up, and I'm looking at them like, how old are you? And they're like, no, I wasn't here. They're like, really? It feels like I'm like, yeah. And so thank you for that. That's a compliment.
Absolutely.
You know, but being in radio, being on different, TV platforms and since 1999, really. So when you think about it, a lot of people do feel that connection or that they've been listening to me that long in different markets. Yeah. And that's a compliment to me because one thing that I do, every city I've done radio in, which is Houston, Albuquerque, LA, Dallas, and here, not specifically in that order, but I think when personalities engulf themselves with the culture, with the city.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
the goal. You want people to feel like they've known you, and you want to feel like you've known that city or known people in it that long as well. Yeah. So it's a compliment. So thank you for saying that. I really do appreciate that.
It's huge that you bring that up because at that time is exactly when I was moving again from LA to Phoenix, and I used to listen to a whole lot of Big Boy Neighborhood.
Okay, yeah.
And as soon as I tuned in over here, I was looking for something like that, and then boom, you guys sparked up.
Right. Yeah, because that's the thing in radio. You might see there might be a power in one city, and then you're like, go to the next. And power here is not associated with power there now, but at one point back in the day, they were.
Yeah.
So there might be a hot somewhere. There might be a kiss here or a kiss there or whatever, or a mix. Sometimes they're affiliated. They have the same jocks that are voice tracked or syndicated. Sometimes they're totally not. It just depends.
Yeah.
But that's normally the first thing people do. They'll find a station, whether it's the digits or the actual name of it, and they'll try to find that company or whatever, and then move to a different city.
I think the reason why I call you a Phoenix legend, man, is like you're always tapped in with the community. It's like you're always doing something good for the community. And like, dude, coming from LA, you know, coming into the city, and the first thing he hears is you. And I think so many people tie your voice and the things you do to the city, whether it's nonprofit, you know, your work with the Cardinals, you know, your work just in the streets, even, you know, even the political side.
Yeah. It's community's key.
Yeah,
at the end of the day. And there is some people like, well, you don't ever feel like if this person tries to do the same cause you're doing or this, I'm like, no, man, the more people that can help these causes, what it is, that's greater.
Yeah.
That's better. That's a greater impact you can potentially have, right?
Exactly.
You know, like in Houston, you know, working with Trade the Truth and everything we do with Relief Gang, right? And so we started a lot of those community and charity and philanthropic efforts that you see. That started when we got our days in the city in like 2009. So Trade Day and everything that just happened, all the different things that, and just rebuilding communities and helping communities. I mean, I have video footage on Vimeo of the first call we made to the mayor and to FEMA to get direct help in different neighborhoods. We wanted ponds in neighborhoods that we knew where people needed it most. And I have that. It's a call that we just made on three-way, a person three-way, another person three-way. And I had different radio personalities and other artists or people that we put together. And that was a wonderful thing that happened for the city. This is 2008 when that big hurricane hit. Yeah. And so since that moment, there'll be people like, well, you don't care if this artist comes in or this other radio person. Like, no, man, we're here to try to make something happen.
Exactly.
Period.
Unity.
The more people that can get involved for a cause, the better. That's when people get irritated sometimes or ego, I get if maybe they're copying something that you're specifically doing. But if the cause in general, what you're doing, always think greater, think community, man.
Absolutely. And I think you're in a position, I think most radio personalities are in a position where it's a lot more raw than just like a music artist tending to it, because you guys stomp the ground more than they do.
Right.
You guys are in the community more. So I would imagine it feels greater coming from someone that they hear on a day-to-day, right?
Yeah. And I wish more radio personalities stepped up. You know, there's a lot, but at the end of the day, it's not everyone's passion.
Yeah, true.
So you can never fault. Even though, you know, I'm like, man, I wish this person, they don't do any volunteering. They don't give back or they don't do this and that. And sometimes you may have that opinion because maybe you don't see some of the stuff on social media. Doesn't mean they're not doing it. But even at that, you know, I think as a radio personality, you're supposed to kind of give back or be seen or care about the people that are listening to you. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we make money based on ratings. And so if you're having listeners that are choosing to tune in and they're wearing one of the people meter pagers or the bracelets or, you know, diary, depending on the market that you're in, you're writing down the station, you're writing down that personality. It's only right that you contribute back to the communities that are giving you the chance to be their favorite radio personality at the end of the day.
But I know you don't, knowing you, I know you don't just do it for the ratings. Man. So where does that come from?
No, it ain't for ratings, and it's not for like media. I don't get coverage.
Yeah,
that's a great. You know, Crisco's Kids, and we finally officially formed the nonprofit almost 2 years ago. But I've been doing the work since Eagle Scouts, dog. Since I got my Eagle Scout project back in the day, so it's been community service driven. But if I did it for like any type of media coverage and all that, man, if it was per dollar or whatever, I'd be broke. We don't get it, and so that's not what motivates me. Yeah. What motivates me really is uplifting and championing and being a voice for people that feel like they can't speak.
I love that.
That's what we do.
I think a better question right there would be, for example, the way Crisco operates in today's and how much he wants to give back to the community is because, for sure, younger Crisco went through something. I want to know what happened where you're like, when I grow up, I'm going to give back to my community.
Yeah.
I don't think there was... There may be a subconscious moment, but I think, again, I know like now the view of scouting is, and I've never really spoke about like, hey, go be a Boy Scout or Girl Scout. But my parents, they were separated, I think, when I was like 3. Like 5 is kind of real. I really remember the separation. I remember going on different trips and my dad picking me up and all that. But I think my mom got me involved with scouts, because I used to ask my mom, can I be a tiger? Can I be a weeblo or whatever, wolf or whatever? Like anytime the opportunity, because it was just the 80s. It was different, right? And so, like, how could you hang out with people and do camping? Like in Houston, Texas, you're not really thinking about going camping. So, like, this is like, I've never been camping, or like, what is this like? Or like, everybody, hey, your dads or your moms can come hang out. You can do all this and that. So I think being in scouts early taught me to like do your best, and if it was this or if it was this, and a scout's honor and all that. But I think building like that, understanding community, trash pickups, adopt the like this is where like I do the adopt a street in the city of Phoenix, because it comes from when I was in scouts picking up trash, like in first grade, second grade, third grade, and so a lot of those things come from being involved in scouting and giving back early. So there wasn't necessarily, I think, a pivotal moment. It was just, I think, the things, and both my parents retired from education. So I think it was understanding that we're all in it, right?
Together, yeah.
And my mom would talk about students that if their parents were more involved and their parents were teaching them how to read at school, not just depending on the teachers. And this is back in the 80s. My mom would have these conversations. My mom loved her students. She loved the kids.
Yeah.
But she could tell the difference when the home life, you were able to, the parents were really giving back or teaching their kids, right? And so that's why, and it all starts in community. If you can, in a position to do some of the heavy lifting or we were talking about AI earlier.
Yeah.
If humans can use AI to do the work that is just kind of day to day, or like just scheduling or different things, then you can focus on being the better human and elevating what you're bringing to the table.
Absolutely.
And so my organization, or anything that some of us are in position, we have extra time where we can do to do that heavy lifting or the other work, to where now the parents can just focus on teaching the kids at home and giving them attention.
I love that.
And that can also feed into education. So that's another reason why it was just maybe I've never spoken about it. So this is the first, I'm just thinking about it as you asked me that. Maybe that is why, it all has just stemmed in from an early age.
Well, there we have it. Exclusive here at the NDO podcast.
I guess so, yeah. I never thought about that till you asked it right now.
We love it, though. But, like, I'm happy you bring up AI, because that's something that we try to drive home, especially to our audience and our viewership. Like we said, like I told you off camera, we speak a lot about branding and kind of like even reinventing yourself, and so to speak, and pivoting into something new to expand your growth, right? So what are some of the, I don't want to say tools, but what are some of the things you use AI for?
It's a tool. Like, I think when I'm planning an event per se, I'm looking at what could we bring to people that they're really wanting? Yeah. Sometimes as content creators, as business men and women, educators, whatever we're doing, sometimes we think that we know what our people want. Yeah. Instead of actually asking people, what do you want?
Absolutely.
And so if you're able to do both and incorporate AI to try to find what can be most engaging, what are people looking for, what's a trend in the past 3 months? I don't say like this year, because in a year, many trends can happen in a year. The way people consume content can change in a year. And when I say even consume content, that includes different types of events. Yeah. So like most recently, so I do real estate as well. And for AI, like it's a tool, and there's a video out that just came out with the Association of Realtors, Arizona Realtors. It's called RPR. Yeah. So we use RPR as a tool, which is pretty much AI driven. It can look at the value of a property, whether it's the actual property, the land, it takes it all together. It's just a good tool. So whether you're looking on the selling side or the buyer side, it helps you come up. It's a tool. Sometimes people depend strictly on AI, and you should never do that, because it still hallucinates, right? It's still not there yet. But when you use it as a tool to when I'm listing, whether it's in real estate or if I'm creating something, a real live event for the charity, hey, what's a good way who's got grants right now that I feel, or hey, help me write a grant that will target this specifically, or give me an outline. It's just a tool that can help you, so that way you can think, okay, I need to do an outline like this. The problem is when people get lazy and they want you to write the script for you. Yes. That's when you can get into like, no, because you still want to be sharp and bring what you've experienced through life. That's why I was talking to Antonio Neves. He's got a couple books out, but I had him on my show once. He's got a book called Stop Living on Autopilot, and he just put out a book called The One Day Method that just came out. And The One Day Method, he just lost everything in the Palisades, the LA fires. And within like the first 30 days, he put out a book called The One Day Method, basically taking it one day at a time. But when I was on his podcast a couple years ago, It's like, man, so many people are looking for life hacks. Life hack for this.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
TikTok. Follow me on TikTok for a hack on how to eat your cereal box, or you open up the box and pour your cereal and all that. But sometimes you forget to use life. Everyone's looking for life hacks, but you've lived everything.
Yeah.
And if you're paying attention to the lessons that you learn along the way, use life. What personal experiences you use. Don't depend on the hack or the AI. Use it for kind of some structure to get an idea of where to go, and then put what makes you valuable into the situation. That's
I agree. And I think you see it, especially with like the TikToks and the Instagram, the shorts and reels. People are kind of losing that sharpness that they have because they rely on these tips. They rely on the things they consume rather than the experience that they've had.
Right. And I'm not hating on anybody putting out that type of content because you got to get views, right?
Yeah.
People eat it, they're eating it up and everything. People are creating that content, they're getting the views, but don't be always on the receiving side, just having a whole life of hacks that you put together. And that's creating your life for you instead of you going out and creating your own.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all about hacks, but like household hacks, you know, like how to hang things or like how to make space more useful. You know what I mean?
I'm not anti-hack. I'm just saying we know most of the time.
Yeah.
We know what to do based on what we've experienced.
I mean, at this point, I don't know, man. I feel like at 28, 30, you already know what the fuck you need to do, man. Yeah. Like enough of like, let me try to keep like finding. And at that point, it's just information overload.
Yeah, there is. How many times do we sit there and we just scroll?
And it's not okay. So and because of information overload, you get analysis paralysis, and then boom, you're stale.
Correct. Yeah. You know, Pimp C, without AI and without everything we have right now. I remember one interview we had, and he's like, you know, he's just like, hey man, study long, study wrong, and it's like, man, how true is that? Because it's like, the more you sit there, it's analysis paralysis, what they call it now.
Yeah.
He said, study wrong.
Yeah.
Start overthinking everything. So you're right. It's information overload. You're trying to, you know, it can happen with ChatGPT, whatever you're using, man.
Absolutely.
But some AI, there's cool like commercials that have been created with AI. That, you know,
we did ours. We did ours.
Yeah, brochures have, you know, they can create those in like 90 seconds now. Like that thing, you get those ads for you, and
I love AI.
Yeah, just use that.
I don't care what anybody says. I love
use
that.
it as a tool, man.
You use it a lot too, though.
I use it for everything, bro. Absolutely. There's just so many different things like you can create for it, as far as AI agents, as far as AI apps, as far as GPTs that could just cater to your life and everything you do to make your life easy. I think it's the best tool in the world. I feel bad for people who don't, like, oh, they're so against it. I'm like, boy, you better get with the motherfucking times.
That's the thing. I mean, that's
Don't
the
you
thing.
feel like when you use it, it takes some of the stuff that you used to have to think about and stress about.
Yeah.
Now you can go on to be creative, just make money, be you, give attention to clients, meeting other people, relationships. You can build better relationship with people because you let AI do all the other things. You don't
the
have
schedulings,
to.
And I was talking. It was like literally our first episode, and we were talking about it. And I was telling Niko, I was like, bro, I don't know how I feel because I don't want it to become my whole identity. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I get determined whether that's like, okay, this is AI thinking or is this me thinking? You know what I mean? And then he was like, that's when he broke it down to me. And he's like, no, you got to think about it. It's an extension of you and your brain because you have to input the things into the AI in order
who you are, how you think.
In order for it to output, you know, what you're trying to do. And I'm like, for me, I'm a talker, you know what I'm saying? So like, I'm not like a writer, but it puts my thoughts into words, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's the best tool ever. Because I don't like writing captions and stuff like that. Like if I have something I want to say, I just talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Our chats, the group chats. It's Niko, Steve, audio from Terrell. Niko, Steve, going back and forth.
I don't
audio
like
from Terrell.
I don't like writing. I don't like texting. I'm like, bro, let me just get my mess up and just talk. And I'm all about tonality and stuff like that. I want people to feel me, so that's why I do a lot of it. But AI just helped me to put all my thoughts into fucking words, bro. Because I dropped out of college. You know what I'm saying? My grammar is trash. I'm not gonna act like my grammar is good, bro. Like, nah, bro. That shit put everything I have into words. I'm like, oh yes, this is what I'm talking about. So that's why I like it.
Yeah, use it for how you see best, man.
Absolutely,
yeah. Again, I'm not anti. I feel like it came like I'm anti.
No.
I am not anti. I'm just like, don't forget to like think for yourself.
I
still
agree.
think for yourself.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're integrated into our organization and everything. Calm down.
Interesting enough, though, real quick. I mean, we don't have to dwell on AI, but I will say, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I just saw it on my feed. one of the creators or someone with a big AI company just received a Nobel Prize award, right?
Really?
Yes,
And
I did see
so
that.
he
Warning.
did issue a warning.
The warning
Yeah,
signs.
So it
watch
is
that whole
important.
video.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah,
the warning. I just
Oh
saw
no,
the
bro.
headline.
He's like, this is great and all, but basically, wash your ass. Like, watch your ass.
Yeah.
because this shit's about to get real.
So that's
like-
why. I mean, look how good deep fakes are. Remember a couple years ago, like 5 years ago, you were deep faking interviews, and I think Tom Cruise. Everybody used Tom Cruise.
that was
as
a-
deep
yeah,
fake
yeah.
guy.
And it was all
I like,
blurry and shit.
Yeah.
And now look at it.
It's like, look,
deep
clear.
fakes are. I mean, it's it's hard to tell.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
facts.
Well, even if you look at some of the people that are put in position in these companies, like there are a lot of people that were prior military, heads of in the chains of the militaries or government officials that are now associated with the Chat GPTs and the Open AIs. So
I mean, it's without a doubt something of this magnitude. Yes or yes, the military compound is going to be involved.
oh, absolutely.
That Nobel Peace Prize talk when he was talking, though, he was dead ass serious. He
Well,
was
I
like,
mean,
this is great.
Look at him. Look at Elon Musk.
Sam Altman.
I don't know how many like world total entrepreneurs like got together of like really big companies and issued a letter as well saying like the harms of it. It's serious, bro. Like it is serious. Look at what's happening in less than like 5 years
I don't
since
think
it got.
we're taking it that serious. That's
That's the thing. Like people think that is just like
Trends don't stop, bro. The momentum is so far now. To get everyone to just stop using AI or be like, hey, you're using it the wrong way, I think that's kind of an impossible feat.
Yeah.
Right, but think about this. Everything that we know that went mainstream as far as technology, that technology has probably existed for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
5 different people who have these contracts and are developing it, right? I thought about the other day, I had got an ad or I'd seen something about writing. And it was like, yeah, we can write this for you. We can do this. College students, this and that. I'm like, damn, where was this when I was getting my master's, man?
Yeah, that's what
And so I'm like, damn, this is
The essay writing.
But
I'd be A+
so the essay writing, and I was thinking about people would talk about that. Like I've always heard people, you can pay this and it could write it for you, and you can do this and this and that. And I'm thinking that was probably writing or essays using some type of base level AI writing or technology back then.
Yeah.
And there would be these companies just already doing that and like. Choose your writer and choose. I did look at it, but I was like, how can somebody just write all this stuff for you? And it'd be like all these different people in there. You're like, all these people are writing, and then I thought that back then. Now I'm like, nah, player.
So inside school
back then.
I was an ESL student, so I didn't know any English, right? And yes, I tried very hard and everything, but inside school you start learning like the little networks and who deals what and who's doing what and and then I find out that there's a little, and MySpace was around the corner too. It was during MySpace times. So then they would slang essays back in the day. So so I always got like tempted to do it. I don't know what, but like everything, just like a little network. And I remember getting like direct messages on MySpace and shit like that. So it's like, yeah, man. Now it's GPT. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. One thing I've learned in my career field, most things P&D, it takes it, like you said, about 10 to 12 years in the back end between, contracts, testing and stuff like that before it's developed. So, I mean, this has been here. It's only just got.
Oh no, AI! I think I've heard people being researching AI for like up to 30 years, bro.
Well, it's just trying to rebuild like the human consciousness, right?
Yeah.
It's like this is just a step of that, right?
Yeah. Okay, y'all going too deep for me.
Yeah,
I don't want to get too deep. I'm like,
crazy.
my brain put in somebody else, and then I'll live on forever.
But
Like downloaded it.
Right? You got the movies.
Now we're
See the movies where you
Plug
just
me in, bro.
download your whole
One left
conscious, or put another body.
all that Matrix, man.
Yeah, I'm not ready for all that. No.
Oh no, but and talking about heads of governments and people like that heading into positions of power and stuff. You've had your political era.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm kind of still in the political era. I mean, I'm not running for anything. I have to make this clear. Then I finally campaign a finance report, so I am not running for anything. Oh, this is real. Every quarter they send you one, and so yeah. But no, 2020 that was a real learning experience.
Yeah.
My brother is the politician. He, in Texas, Houston, like he's the lawyer. He does, he's written legislation for anybody you can imagine, probably in Texas and even nationally. But I didn't think of myself getting in that realm. But during 2020, I mean, we saw a lot of things that were happening that summer. I know, and it started, you know, we'll call George Floyd like kind of ground zero, right?
Yeah.
But locally, Deion Johnson's case. And so what bothered me was the way that ADOT and just media and police and even the police reports are saying what had happened. And I remember reading that his keys were in the ignition. And I'm like, bro, he drove a Prius. I drive a Prius.
Yeah.
No keys in the ignition. That was a lie.
Yeah.
So at that moment, I'm like, okay. Then during the protesting, I had tried to make contact with Phoenix police just to talk about that and other things that were happening locally. And the mayor, and I couldn't really get anybody on the show. And so that was frustrating. And that's where everything kind of stemmed from. And I remember being on the air and I'm like, yo, if I can't talk to anybody, I'm going to run for office.
Yeah.
It's going to make, like, I'm going to have to, because we have to find answers, or how can we talk to somebody? And I knew that I would not win. Yeah. Like, these are people that have machines behind them. Everybody that kind of runs, right?
Yeah.
There was no funding. There was no campaigning. It was just a write-in candidate situation. Let's see if I can get the signatures, and let's see if I can get on the ballot. And that whole, you know, I had to turn in petitions 2 times because they had an address discrepancy. You can't use this address. I'm like, why not? And so then I had to start over with ballot, you know, so it was whatever. But it was learning. It was a learning process. Went in as a write-in candidate, and I could have just gave up, but I felt like there was more to talk about. You know, we had a debate. 2 of the candidates did not show up for the debate, and it was televised. It was streamed, which is unfortunate. And I know COVID was happening, but now looking back, people were called conspiracy theorists and everything. And looking back, everything a lot of those people were saying about everything from the vaccines to the actual virus has been proven.
Yeah.
And so, but other people were deemed conspiracy theorists, or you're this and that, and you know. But I think the best takeaway was that because, and I'm independent, you know, sometimes I'll post this person more, I might post this person more.
Yeah.
Local government, I tend to support more of these people, and national, I might support this, or statewide. Just depends. I look at what policy is going to be best for what I think.
Absolutely.
I think politically, whether you're a conservative or more liberal, you're Republican or Democrat, like I talked about earlier, community service and building communities and working with people and having the community or people's best interest in mind. I think genuinely, if you're in it for the right reasons, no matter the side you're on, you may see this issue or this issue and you want the best for people. You just have different ways maybe going about getting it.
Absolutely.
And those are the type of people that I know that their hearts are really in for the big goal here, I can work with. It's the people that are only aligning with certain issues or parties, and they don't really care about this end goal. They just want the stuff that goes along in it on either one of these sides. Those are people I don't vibe with.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I can get that.
So since 2020, being able to like be a part of different conversations, sit in different rooms, sit at different tables, that's been the biggest thing, because I think when people get to sit down and they understand like my mentality, why I ran, where the goal might be, which is always uplift, build community, you know, families first, really build that structure. And whether you're, you know, I serve still currently on the North Mountain Village Planning Committee.
Okay.
And so we meet once a month. And so this is a great step for anyone, if you want to be, whether you're in North Mountain, you're in Maribel's committee, you're in Levine's Village Planning Committee. If you don't have to just be a city planner or be involved like an architect or in real estate, or, you know, most of the people that do sit on the board are involved kind of in that industry. But there's community leaders that participate in that Village Planning Committee. We'll hear different cases based on zoning or what might be happening in your area, in your village, because there's different villages across the greater Phoenix or Phoenix. And so what we vote, or what we kind of put stipulations into different bills or different measures potentially to be passed, that goes on to the main Village Planning Committee, that goes to City Council, and they'll vote on those issues that we hear first, right? So we're kind of like the ground level. What do our neighborhoods, what does this area of town, what do they expect, what do they want, what means the most from them? We'll have people come in, they'll talk pro or, you know, against on different issues. And so that still is important to me, because being that I talk to so many different people, And there's people I still don't know, but I'll get to meet there, and I can still build with those people and to find out what really matters, right? And so that is still my, I guess, political involvement, if you want to call it that, but it's really more civic duty. Got my master's from ASU, graduated May of 24 in public administration.
Congrats.
I got I got a certificate in public policy as well. And so people do those things online, right? I went to ASU and I went on like downtown campus because if I'm going to be paying for that money, man, it's expensive. Good Lord. I got to pay. I'm still paying. But what I think the benefit, and I encourage anyone to actually participate on campus if you're going for a master's program, because I met so many people by participating in class, whether it's the professors or the students that we had. I still talk to them this day. I'll run into them at the Greater Phoenix, like one of the chamber events, Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, anything to do with what we're doing. Most of the time I'll run into at least one or two people that I had class with. That's the value of getting that master's, I think. And it's just, whether you believe, in education or the formal education process or schooling or not, the benefit I found and always is participating live, because you're going to have conversations that you're not going to be able to get on Zoom when you just have a professor talking.
I mean, that's a great advice. We often talk about building relationships. And if you really think about it, right, the elites, skulls and bones, right, things like that, they go up to higher level organizations and then they just pull everybody else. So that's a great advice.
Absolutely. And, that all of this is part of the reason why, obviously, like we said, we met in the middle of the cabin. You know what I'm saying? Right. And, I knew a different Crisco until I started seeing the political side of Crisco. You were speaking about so many important topics, and I commend you because I feel like that was a time where people were still scared to use their voice in the right ways. And I was out there, I went to a couple protests, and like you, I lean very middle of the aisle. So it was great to see someone that I saw as a voice of so many communities step up and kind of be like, hey, like, this isn't right. And we talk about it like, people who live in Phoenix aren't from Phoenix. Like there's no
straight up.
There's no like Phoenix culture. It's just a mix of everything.
Little.
And to have someone come in from a different state, and really you weren't here as long as most of the voices in Phoenix, but you stand up and say, no, this isn't right for the community.
There was a lot of people absent.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people absent. And I talked about earlier, I wish more people, but again, that's not their passion.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people, it was a tricky time. That you didn't want to be seen here because then maybe you might get let go from your company. Not just in radio, I'm talking about in general. People then you might be on this side and like, well, we're doxing, or we're going to find it, it's just like, yo. So I get why people did not want to, participate in that. But, and it wasn't necessarily like you met a different me. It's the same me, but it's just, I think we're talking about at different clubs, right? And like if I'm on radio or if I'm entertaining at a club versus not, but those things are still, embedded in me. Like, it's just, when do you get the chance to show that that element of you? Because sometimes I think when you say sides, it might be like one side, two sides, side. What are you, hexagon? Are you a cube? Or you a polygon? What are we right here, man? But there's many sides or many elements that exist within one that I think when you're around different people, you get to share those.
Absolutely.
So I love it.
And man, that's why I call you the Phoenix legend, bro.
No, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. But I think what you guys are doing here with the podcast, and you mentioned fitness earlier. I'm like, hold on, man. I know, like fitness and like,
sides.
Hey, I'm down with it. I got to get back in the gym here. But I love No Days Off and like what you're creating here, because I think when you have these conversations, everyone, look, there's gonna be a lot of people probably saying the same thing, right? But it's just how you deliver it. And I think who's watching that day. It might resonate with people. Some of the stuff might not hit. Some of it might hit like, damn, I don't, But I think having this platform and opening up to have these conversations, it's important.
Yeah.
We need more of these, whether it goes political, whether you're talking about just, I don't know, whatever.
The whole main idea here is to showcase powerful voices just like you with big personal brands that have done it. So with that being said, we also like to put our audience on. Answering common questions and whatnot. But since we're leaning more on personal branding, you've done a fantastic job. Your talent, it's undeniable. I'm wondering, was there someone that pushed Crisco into a more serious note? So we identified there's talent, you have a powerful voice, people are connecting with you. Was there someone that told you, now it is your duty to start doing this thing? Or was it just always self-starting, like, I got to go my own?
Well, more self-starting. I had wished I had learned more about the business of radio earlier. And I bring that up because I think I missed a lot of stuff I'm doing now I could have been doing back then. I wasn't ready, probably, maybe maturely, wise, even though there's a lot of opportunities in business that I missed had I been smarter and understanding just business better at an earlier age. Because you're right, the talent-wise, and I appreciate that, is there.
Is there an example that you could give us? Or is like, man, I was young and dumb and I missed on this?
No, I think it was never dumb. It was just like, at one point, fame and ego-driven.
Oh.
And so being in different music videos or being a part of this and like just to, hey, give me like this, whatever shoe deal or whatever clothing deal, whatever store or whatever kind of this deal, not understanding truly like how endorsements can work or building brands together. And so being cool or popular or being liked by everyone, we talked about ratings earlier, and one part of that about that is being liked. You have to be kind of liked to be able to get ratings.
Yeah.
And that's why I brought up Antonio earlier today, just because his post on LinkedIn was talked about, that was so important to him, but after the fire, it went away. And so that's why I appreciate this question, because I think it was in 2007, I started incorporating a psychic medium into my show, who is a great friend. Her name's Sandra Logan. And once I started understanding like more metaphysical things, I read a book by Eckhart Tolle, which talked about removing ego. Once I started understanding removing ego from situations and crush your ego, then I was like, damn it, I missed out on this potential deal. I could have had record deals. Like, and there will be certain DJs that be putting out mixtapes or putting out records with labels. I could have done that.
Yeah.
But my ego and other things were in the way of being that.
So powerful, man.
And so that book, her being on my show, transformed the way I started removing. Some people say, oh, his ego. I'm like, bruh, I have not had an ego since 2007. And sometimes you'll feel good about yourself. You'll start feeling this way. It's just natural. It's human nature.
Yeah.
But then you got to remember to say, hey, bring it down, homie.
Stay here. Yeah,
and so whether it's losing a job, because, radio is just like sports. You might be playing for this team, then you get traded. You don't even get traded in radio. You just get fired. Or they flip a format and you got to go find another one, right? Then you're off to the next city. So how long is this contract? You got a 2-year deal, 3-year deal? What are you on, right? Yeah. Same thing. And so you might be feeling high. You're making a lot of money. You're doing this and that. Everybody's feeling you. But then sometimes you got to remember, are they really rocking with you or is it your position?
The wave.
Also, I think a lot of radio personalities and just people in talent, they fail to understand this early in their career or maybe even later in their career. I left the station I was just recently on in February. We had a falling out. I never made an announcement. People are like, why didn't you make an announcement? What happened? Your listeners, people want to know. I was like, for what? Larry Fitzgerald didn't make no announcement. Dipped out.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody cared.
Cheeseman.
I had a couple people ask me, what happened. People in the industry, if I've talked to, I'll tell them. But what would I say? I mean, the listeners, I told them thank you after every show. So they know how much I appreciate everyone for listening. On social media, I show a lot of gratitude. But what can I say that would change that situation? And so I just felt it was best to kind of leave it, right? Because I could have badmouthed somebody or a position and I might block myself from a future blessing. Yeah. What people don't realize sometimes is when you do morning radio or afternoon radio, whether you're waking up in the morning, you build a habit on waking up, right? Whether you set the alarm or you listen and you know that this feature is going to come on at 6:50. Another one comes on at 7:10. Hey, at 7:30, we got this coming up. So you subconsciously start building habits in the morning when you wake up, right? Based around, you might be like, oh, crap, this is happening at 7:30. If we're not in the car by 7:30, I know I'm about to be late for this 8 o'clock or 8, whatever I got.
Yeah.
That's how you start subconsciously building behaviors. That's what we do. Or the good personalities, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Same thing in afternoons, right? I'm building things that I know that in my clock, so that, on my show clock, that I'm creating habit for people to tune in. And I'm also creating something that there's a certain time period that I get credit for that block for the ratings. Well, when people get fired or they leave, they'll be like, oh, I missed that show. Man, this new show sucks. Or no, man, what did y'all do? This and that. Sometimes it's not even because that they liked the personality. Sometimes
It's
it
the
is. They
habit.
Junior didn't
Yeah.
like them. You're disrupting their habit.
It's a relationship.
Now you don't have that 7:30 feature that was happening. It's moved to 7:40.
I never thought.
And now you're late for the last 2 weeks and you can't figure out why.
Now you're messing up my
Right?
morning, man.
Same thing in the afternoon. Wait, I don't hear this when I'm driving home, or I'm trying to do this or this and that, or this puts me in a better mood after work. I had a bad day, and at 5 something, I know when I get in the car, this is gonna make me feel I'm better, right?
Better, yeah.
It's gone. So now you hate that the company has disrupted their daily
I never thought
pattern.
about that. That's crazy.
And so people, their ego and their personalities think it's about them. It's not always like that. And so that's the way I kind of felt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just kind of remove the ego and just kind of handle your business, bring the value, and then whatever situations may be arriving. But I know you asked like what got me more serious, but understanding, I still had a lot of fun. I still have fun, right? Every day. Have you ever taken a DISC assessment? You guys ever taken a DISC?
No.
So DISC, and there's like 4 different personality traits.
Okay.
I can't remember what they are, but D is like, are you fun? I is like, how much or how serious are you? Whatever. I'm getting them wrong, but each one has a different thing.
Yeah.
So I used to be like a high D and a high I, or I'd be a high S or high C, whatever, depending. It kind of navigates or moves as you go through life. The personality assessments are traits, right? So like you're supposed to know them so that way when you approach somebody, you know how to say like, I vibe with you, you're a D, or like you're more of an introvert, or you like to be presented content or talk to like this. So when you know somebody's, that's why companies will do them. So a manager understands how to approach that person when making a decision. So like currently, I'm more high serious and analytical and business driven because I also don't represent myself on air as a human and my family, but I also am president of the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, NARP, Greater Phoenix chapter. So I'm more analytical and more serious and business driven right now because I know that it's not just about me, but I'm representing this chapter and it's the largest Hispanic trade organization in the country. And so I know that when I'm speaking, whether it's about real estate or just out in public, I have to uphold everything, every business decision, everything I'm doing has to incorporate all that.
Yeah,
so I'm very much business driven. Still fun. Like we can go hang out, we can kick it, whatever, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I have to stay true to who I am. But there's certain situations when you become more of a leader that I think if you're a leader and you're still having fun and you're doing too many other things, the company or the people won't follow. You have
Okay,
to
see,
lead.
that's exactly what I was telling them. I've been dealing with this situation right there. Because I told them, it's like, man, I used to remember me, man. I used to be like just eased out. And then since I became a father, business, now there's an image, the clients, we have like very important high-end clients that, of course, I cannot be seen or portrayed as like, oh, he's like still fucking around, you know what I mean? And then also by any means, like Terrell was saying, 35, I'm 35, I'm still super young, man. But it's just knowing the whens, and because I've lacked enough of a community here in Phoenix because I don't have any family, zero, and I'm not the kind of guy, especially now being married as well for the past 10 years, it's not like I'm going to go out and try to find new friends and socialize with random strangers and things like that. So it's always been for me on that serious note.
Yeah.
And it's really good to hear, the level that you operate, the government and everything, you still find the times to ease out and then just be you.
Yeah. And I think being a
love
father,
that.
Thank you. And being a dad, you hit it right there. Y'all got, you got kids, right?
I cried about this the other day.
So I think at one point, fatherhood also changed a lot.
Yeah.
That was actually the pivotal in 2018. But I still, you're having fun. We're doing whatever, dads, have you seen those memes that like, dads or men who hang out after something so many times a week have better relationships at home and all that. It's like, I don't know if that's an excuse just to get out. But I said, Brenda, I'm going out. I got to get out at least once or twice. You saw the social media post. It's science here. It's a fact. It's yellow letters, Brenda. It means
you see science, Brenda.
Somebody studied something.
No, but I think, being a father, will transform or put your hustle at a different level.
Yes.
But I think automatically just built in genetically or nurturing, nature nurture, being from Houston, Texas, that's hustle town. And that's at the end of the day where my hustle and everything comes from is Houston. Like independence, record labels, and just making it happen. That's also where I think a lot of my encoding comes from the culture and the city. I mean, you're talking about the diverse city of like, at the time, 20% white or 40% white and 20 Hispanic, 15% black and the rest other. But fast forward, you're looking at like 25, 33%, like all the demographics that change. So people talk about diversity, especially like him, like, bro, I come from diversity. The city's still 6% African American out here.
Yeah.
When somebody kind of talks to me about like growing up in like my neighborhood, it's just black and brown ball all day long in the streets and whatever we did. And like my high school was a little different. And that's when I started seeing like, as you know, more diverse. My high school was diverse. That's the biggest blessing in life is growing up in Houston for me, is that being around different cultures, whether you're Vietnamese or Jewish or from El Salvador and Mexican and white and Asian and wherever you might be. Like Houston has one of the biggest Vietnamese populations in the country. So understand that some of my friends, man, I could cut somebody on Vietnamese growing up early. From tacos to pupusas, man. It didn't matter like on my side of town. Like we were just growing up diverse. That's one of the biggest blessings. But being a father, here's why I started conducting business. Two things helped me conduct business differently for my brand. Action. First thing was being a father, because now you can't talk to me like I'm your son.
Yes.
When CEOs or GMs try to son me, or try like, first of all, let me tell you.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm a CEO of my family.
Yeah, like
Or CFO, depending on how your family dynamic is.
I love it.
You up
Okay?
there, though.
Just
Yeah.
got something.
I gotta see before.
We
He knows how it goes.
in my family.
He knows how it goes.
Something like that. So when you approach me, and this happens in hip hop, and I talk about this, I've mentioned this multiple times, or just to people, because I'm in hip hop or I come from hip hop, the genre in radio, people feel like if you dress a certain way or whatever, they can automatically talk to you a little different. It's not how you're going to talk to me though, because I sit on these different boards and I'm a part of this and that. I'm a businessman at the end of the day, and I built a brand. And so, but being a dad, this is my family dynamic, and I'm helping control or raise and control how he grows up, right?
Yes.
And so you can't talk to me like that anymore. That was number one. And in real estate, helped me like in negotiating, right? Understanding in real estate, number one rule, everything is negotiable. You want that land? Cool. Let's see if we can put a price in. You want that plant? You want this couch? All right, cool. We can write a bill of sale. We can do whatever. I'm just using those as an example. But the point is, with real estate is what helped me understand even like business, take it even further. Because now I can negotiate anytime, any situation, what I want. And, you know, that to me, those two things have been the biggest difference in building my brand since 2018, and being a part of different partnerships, endorsement opportunities. That's made the difference in my life.
You've heard it from the legend.
Yeah.
Learn how to sell. It's a necessity, okay? You're not going to bug anybody. It's just a fact. You need it. We preach about it all the time. It's like, for me, what really changes the game was learning sales. And it was indirectly. Like, of course, I wanted to be around entrepreneurs. When I got started in my journey as a videographer, I was the one following the big N entrepreneurs. So I often say, just shut the fuck up and learn and learn. And that's what I did. I started learning how these guys were executing on high levels, then coach sales trainings and this and that. And it literally just 10X everything. Everything.
Let me just piggyback on that right quick, because you said like it wasn't really necessarily internship, but you were looking at like what people are doing, right?
Exactly.
Like Tom Brady, and I'll still get a comment on this every once in a while. I don't know if it was on Baller Alert or Shade Room or something. One of the blogs had posted a clip about Tom Brady saying that there's no more like interning or like these quarterbacks now. There's no quarterback development.
Yeah.
That's what it was. There's no player development anymore in the league. I had wrote something on the comment that was like, yeah, in music, I think that's where people got mad. Maybe it was Hip Hop DX, one of them, like, because it was music based. And I was like, this is exactly the problem in music as well. There's no A&Ring. That left probably like 2009. Like real A&Ring on projects. Maybe 07 since Soulja Boy, and like it became like ringtone rap and everything was like who's going viral, what's the trend, and right? But especially since Vine, then Instagram, then everything that followed, the A&Ring of labels.
For people that don't know, what is A&R?
Artist development, pretty much, or A&D. You're right. So when developing artists went away, quality of music kind of went away. That's why throwbacks were so big right now. It doesn't matter the format, from rock to hip hop to whatever. older records, that's what you're hearing mostly in clubs anyway right now, because the new stuff is just, it's quantity. Viral, quick, churn and burn, go.
Yeah.
But those timeless records, the joints are actually A&R'd, you can tell the difference in those projects. Tom Brady was talking about it in as far as quarterbacks or in the league with the NFL. They're not doing, player development anymore. Like, look at the quarterbacks. Like, now you got quarterbacks that just kind of come in on their first season, rookie season. Well, who did you study under? Most of the great quarterbacks, they studied under a quarterback for their first year. They got, or maybe 2-3 years.
Or even a good coach.
Yeah, there was no like, well, I got to start now. I'm watching quarterbacks right now. Maybe that's what I'm talking about this. Yeah. Or like watching, Penix behind, this year coming up with Kirk Cousins. And watching that situation where Kirk could, I don't know, his training camp still. Does he go to a different team? Who knows? But his position now is he's going to stay behind Penix, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's great because you still have a veteran. And Kirk Cousins seems like the kind of guy watching this series. I don't know him personally, but he seems like the kind of guy that actually cares about nurturing or building better people and teammates in the league, because you never know who you're going to play with at any given time, right? So I think he values that. The reason I bring that up is because I think a lot of people, and this is not knock against Gen Z, but I think a lot of the generation that has grown up on YouTube, we talked about life hacks earlier. I think when you're looking for advice that you would get from a life hack or a quick YouTube video. Like I used YouTube yesterday to help me build a bike. And I was like, damn it, the instructions aren't clear. Let me go to YouTube and try to figure it out, right? So if you're in a corporate situation, or it might be in this studio, there might be somebody that walks in right now and says, how can I be a better videographer? How can I be better editing or setting up audio? They may want to intern for 2 or 3 months. That used to be the deal. Intern for a year. Find a good internship and learn. Now they're like, well, when can I start getting paid after your first one? You're like, what, bro? You still don't know how to set up the camera. The camera's right. Well, I went to YouTube and I found out and I learned this and this and that. But dog, that's not real life. I talked about real life earlier. Life experience. Use life. That's the value. Interning, learning under people, studying them, being in the classroom instead of on Zoom. That's the value. People have got to get back to real life and putting in that work.
It was shocking to me, man. I went to it was probably the pivotal moment of my career. Everything I've ever dreamed for. When I started my content creation journey, I always aspired to one day meet Gary Vee. And then I got a job where we needed to go to Utah, Limitless Society 2023. David Goggins is there. Gary Vee is there. Ed Milet is there. Okay. And I'm just like, I'm blown away. And I'm just trying to listen as much as I can to like whatever, right? I have like back entrance to absolutely everything. I shake Gary Vee's hand, like he's like chopping it up with the guy that I'm working with. I'm freaking the fuck out holding the camera. You can see the camera is a little shaky too. And to me, to see content creators walk around, bro, looking like zombies. Like, it's just like,
it's really,
like, oh, fuck. Like, they seemed like they didn't even want to be there. And I'm just thinking, it's like, well, then from who do you learn from then? Like, you know what I mean? Like, take the advantage of the opportunity. And a lot of the times, when I'm behind the camera and I was recording courses and things like, I'm listening to what they're saying, man. I'm getting front row of a $10,000 program, man. And I'm there like shaking my hand and I'm like, oh, pumped up. And they're like, damn, man, like your fucking energy just makes me also want to perform better on camera. I'm like, okay, hell yeah, let's go.
But you're seeing an opportunity. That's the thing. People don't think that. Be the cameraman. Be whoever you can be. It's the equivalent of, can I carry your records in the club back in the day?
Absolutely.
Okay.
For Serato, man, I had to walk in with like probably 9 crates every night. I used to DJ.
Oh, shit.
And it's like, who wants to carry the crates today? Who gonna carry it to get in the club? I'd like to take 1 trip to the club instead of 2.
Go ahead and dive on that story. I want to know how you guys started in the radio story.
So who's gonna carry the crates, right? That's who's gonna be my camera guy.
Who's gonna carry the boats?
Who's gonna carry? Yes. And so when you think about this, you soaked up that game. We just say, put your sponge shoes on. No, that's some wrong shit. Go put your sponge shoes on because you need to soak this up today, right? And so that is you understood the mission.
Yeah.
And this is you said 2023?
2023 was that, but even prior to that.
Yeah, that's the mentality that I think is missing a lot now. Sacrifice, put your ego, crush your ego.
Yeah.
Be in the front row,
Yeah.
Record the content, take the job, whatever you want to do that you think you should be getting paid for sometimes, because how many people spend thousands of dollars to be at those summits? You got it for free.
Yeah. I got paid to go out.
Yeah. And you got paid. And then you could probably, even if you didn't really know how to do the work, hire someone who does know how to do the work, give them the editing, have them edit it and still put out a polished product.
Yeah.
That's the business side that, I'm not saying that's what you do. I'm just saying in general, that's what I would do. If there was something, hey, I'll record it for you, just let me in the building for free or pay me minimum.
I mean, I'm at this stage, I'm blessed that we already have a big team.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was me just pulling the all-nighters, you know, waking up at 6 a.m, going to sleep at 3 a.m, because there was a deliverable and all of that. But yeah, it's just identifying the opportunities that you have around and how you maximize them.
Because at the end of the day, like even going through all that, you still have the excitement of, I get to do this. I think that's what's lacking in today's generation, because you get such instant gratification.
Yeah.
People with the ego based off the following or what you feel like you've done in life, you don't want to carry the crates.
Right.
You don't want to hold the camera and consume what's going on and understand like, hey, like you might be in this position, but something over here is what will get you to the next level if you just shut up for a second.
So you're talking about carrying the crates. Is that like how you got started? Like what was the deal with the story of carrying the crates?
Yeah, that's how I think most DJs that are over 35, I think it was carrying crates, man. And then CD books, like, okay, I guess you can carry my CD book. You know, because CDs started coming out, you're like, and I still kind of had crates and CD books at one point, and it was just, you know, but before that, and I have a red backpack at home. And every time I go home, my mom's like, do you want to keep this? I'm like, hell yeah. Matter of fact, I think I had a dream about it the other day. And because the red backpack, when I turned 21 like 3 or 4 times in nightclubs. And I had this red backpack since probably the end of high school.
Oh, man, I still have mine.
I started, I became like DJing around 15, my sophomore year. I threw my own, like, I remember it was a 15 or 16-year-old party. I DJed my own party because I had already started collecting this, and I was like, Dad, can you buy me these speakers? Or Mom, can you buy me this and this and that? I didn't even start with turntables. I started with like 2 regular CD players, but I got so fast at pushing the pause play button, I can match on beat. That's poor people. You know, we didn't have a lot of money. I couldn't afford a turntable.
That's fire.
I had to save money to rent a turntable just to look like I knew what I was doing. I would buy a couple of records and I'd, you know, try to learn how to scratch, but then the needles were expensive. And like, so I just like, play a Junior Mafia record on the left or play something on the left, and on the right-hand side, I'm working with the CD players, right? And I think I had even a tape deck at one point, too. And, yeah, so I started, I was throwing my own parties by the end of my junior year, and by my senior year, I'm taking all the north side of Houston, Texas, mine. And so, like, I'm throwing my own events, I'm doing everything. And I was like, okay, now how do I start getting to more nightclubs? So I had built that radio station relationship because I was buying commercials. I was throwing my own parties. And so I understood that where I wanted to be. I knew I was going to be on radio probably since I was in elementary school. I just knew I was meant for this. I knew
love that.
My first line in the play was C is for cookie, and Logitech did a video on that on me. It's like, C is for cookie. And it really went from there. I knew I wanted to, like, have the main line and the characters or whatever it was in the school plays. In elementary school, as soon as I could read, I kept asking, can I do the announcements? Can I do the announcements? I knew, but you can't read. So that motivated me to read better and more. So I could just do the announcements at school in elementary school. And so from there, I just knew. Then 7th grade, I went to this thing called Hispanic Career Day in Houston, be at the Georgia Brown Convention Center. And I saw G-Man, he was on the Tejano station. Tejano was huge in Texas, right? And so I was like, I'm going to do what he does. I'm going to do this. And so fast forward, you know, I put myself in position. I show up to these different nightclubs. I bought record pull subscriptions. Matter of fact, I'd either buy 1 or 2. And it would be like $45 to $60. And that's how I worked at Red Lobster. And most of the money I went to wasn't buying clothes or shoes or anything. It was buying records or this record pull service so I could act like I was servicing the DJs at nightclubs records for them to play. Then I started meeting record label people that get
fake it till you make it.
That's fine.
And so I walked up with that red backpack to all the different nightclubs at 17, 18, 19, going into every club. I got to get a DJ. Yeah, I'm here to see Overdose or DJ Kool-Aid. Shout out to my big brothers. And like anybody like who, just to get in the club. Hey, I act like I'm giving them one. Like, man, just keep that shit. After a while, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna do anything like that. My backpack just getting little and little, like small and small. Hey, you no records anymore. What you doing here? But that's why I always keep that red backpack. It was for that reason. And I'll probably have that red backpack till I die, man, hopefully. And so just because it meant that much to me. So carrying records, whether it was from a record pool or helping a DJ, one of my friends, like doing the hottest party or the biggest night at the club. Hey, what you need help with? Cool, yeah, I'll meet you there. What time? Like, oh, what time you gonna be there? 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10, whatever. There was no 2-hour sets. Like 2-hour sets is like something more recently in the past, like in the next like 10, 15 years from here. But back then you were doing like pretty much a 3 or 4 hour nightclub set. So that's why you had to have so many records with you, right? And so I'll be like, yeah, I'll meet you there. Bam, 16, 17, 18, building. But buying commercials from the radio station, I was able to DJ the teen nights. And so whenever I put myself in that position, so on Sunday nights, whenever there was a teen night for different nightclubs, and at the radio station, I'd probably book the radio station, or if I was already DJing at a nightclub, I would tell them, let's do a little earlier and do a teen night. They would hire the radio station. I benefit because I got the exposure. They say my name on the radio, and I would get to DJ once the radio station left. I'd finish out the club night for the teens. That's how I started building the name, building the brand at that early. If there was social media,
did you have to sample? Did you have to sample before that, or no? Like, show them what you were capable of doing prior to making you go live.
The were so big that I was throwing.
There was like no way.
Okay. So you were already doing your thing. Gotcha.
And,
but okay, I
and
understand
even the first time I was on air, I had already been around the stations. And I remember homie Marco, one night we were at a Denny's after one of the nightclubs on a Wednesday night. And I'm older at this point, but I think 19 and maybe 20. And we had launched 100.7 House Party, which is a station in Houston. It's not there anymore, but he's like, hey, he kind of talks like this. So anytime I talk about homie, it's like, hey, everybody does it, not just me. Do you want to run the board on Thursday night? And I was like, okay, yeah, we got a remote. Can you run a board? Yeah, never ran a board. I've seen people run the board, and I know how to work a mixer. You know, I was like, all right, bam. And this wasn't like a regular mixers and faders. This is a knob board. And I really didn't know how to work the knob board. I figured it out, though, that night. And then after the first night, I didn't have to do promotions. Some people start different journeys in the radio station career. Second weekend, second Thursday, he's like, hey, mijo, I forgot. You know, you host a nightclubs. I'm like, yeah, I did all the bikini back in the day, bikini contests, booty contests is like part of the culture, like everything, right? Can't do that now. You could, but why would you face the backlash or anything? But back in the day, it was part of growing up, it was part of the scene. And I was like, I forgot you host all the contests and do this and this and that. Why don't you go ahead and talk? I'm like, what? Hell yeah. So my second week in radio, I got to crack the mic from 12 to 3, made mistakes and everything, but it was good. By like month number 3, I started having my own nights at clubs and I started doing everything. So, but it was just positioning, it was branding, it was carrying the record.
Relationship building.
Yeah, relationship building.
Not asking for anything, just waiting for your turn.
Hustle. But just put yourself in position, surround yourself with people who are doing more than you or better than you. That's what they always say. Yeah. But I just knew what I wanted to do since elementary.
But even then, like, for example, listen to what you're saying, right? You build a massive following as a DJ prior to even trying to tap in onto the radio station.
Right.
No ego.
That's the end goal.
No ego was involved. And even at the level that you were doing it, you were still carrying someone else's shit.
Right.
You know, I want to point out the fact that he did it in the way that people do it with Instagram now.
Yeah, but so there's no social media back then.
Yeah. No social media.
So you really ahead of the game.
Right. But imagine if there was social media. It's a pros and cons.
Yeah,
I am glad there was no social media back then.
Yeah.
Man, my follower game would be crazy right now. If this back then, like based on if anybody did what they do, like what we created back then now, I know it's a different game and everything is different. Like you said on Instagram, now you're just kind of like sliding DMs. Hey, can I open up or whatever? Yeah. Can you bring 20 people? Hey, can you bring 50 people? Can you DJ for 50? What they offer DJs now is so insulting to DJ. I made that doing house parties in a junior year in high school.
Yeah.
Senior year in high school. I'm like, why? Who would show? Oh yeah, but you can drink for free, bro. Man, my liver's important now. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? I got to get home and like, you know, and things that mattered then don't matter now. And I get it. I'm not crushing anybody or talking, shit about anybody young and coming up and trying to get into the nightclubs. But there's a difference why the venues are things that I'll participate in, and like the format and the way I DJ, and the other DJs who have been in this for a while, who have won awards, have, been featured on this and this and that. Then somebody who's new, they're going to bring 20, 30 people in. I guess at the end of the day, if that's what you care about, just the selling the drinks, but the clubs and venues that build a longevity, or the parties that go a long time and that people really have a good time, not because they're there looking like zombies, how you said earlier, looking at your phone. And like, that's one thing I hated about when I lived like in LA and going to Hollywood clubs. Because this is like from 11 to 15, a lot of the clubs, whether it was Supper Club or it'd be like Playhouse or anything like that, people just kind of be looking at the phone and they were just kind of too cool to dance. And it's like, man,
I be talking.
You got to throw experiences.
I be talking about shit all the time, bro. I hate motherfuckers that go to the club and just sit there. I'm like,
you got to throw parties. You got to throw experiences. And that's what I like to do. I like to make sure I take you on a journey.
Yeah.
Like, people don't know how to open up anymore.
Yeah.
Like I said, the 2-hour sets or hour and a half, people come in just like banger, 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 banger. Like, why?
Yeah.
I'll get there. My first hour, 30 minutes, bro, we going back in vibes. I'm opening the room. I'm warming it up. I don't want you to drink too hard, too fast.
No.
Right.
I can tell how y'all do other things. If you just pump, like, nah, man, bro, we gonna warm it up, man.
We're selling drinks all night. Yeah.
Let's go. Exactly.
So you brought up something like very, very important, and I wanna make sure we pour back onto our DJs and whatnot. What is an advice that you have for DJs to actually make sure they're not mistreated out there and they get their own?
So for many years, I've been working with DJcity.com. It's the world's largest digital record pool, even as like actual record pool. When we first started, like in 2011, and I helped them create DJ City TV. One thing that we set out to do at that time was to show more value, to understand your value, and to charge what you're worth, right? That's why it irritates when I'm saying, you're doing this for a bar tab, and what? But then you need to bring 50 people or you won't have a job next week. Like, nah.
Yeah.
Now when we do gigs, we know, like, here's what you're getting. I'm not your promoter at the same time. I'll promote it, but we're not your promoter. Understand the value, right? We talked about business. We talked about negotiating. We talked about different things to where you're the CEO of your family if you have kids now at this point. Unless you're, and I get it, people need money sometimes, right? You got to do different things. You'll take different gigs. I hate when people say, you'll do it for the exposure. What exposure? If I have more followers than you on Instagram or Twitter or X or LinkedIn or whatever, why am I doing it for exposure? I hate when people tell me that crap, because what exposure do I need right now? And it's not to be cocky, but like I can always build a following or build, get eyes in front of more people, but I just hate that term. That used to work. But I think with everyone in this room and watching and listening has access to the same platforms, there is no do it for the exposure, because we all have, anyone can go viral at any moment on TikTok or whatever it might be. So your exposure, what does that mean per se?
Yeah.
And so understand your value. Don't get fooled. Not every opportunity is a good opportunity. Not every club is good. Not every
learning how to say no
to you. Drink less. I know one thing right now that a lot of us in the DJ community are like focusing on is like, for so long it was like the DJ had to be drunk and have a good time and do all this and that. I think we're seeing a mind transformation of like taking care of the body more right now. And so I think if you're looking at more just better ways to take care of your body as a DJ, you don't always have to drink. And so I know for a while, me personally, I drank all the time in clubs. Wasn't because I wanted to have a great time, but you got to understand, in Houston, we're the Mecca. People still take our sound. And so being a part of 2 different waves in Houston that we helped create, everyone would always be rapping to me. I'm like, I don't want to hear your freestyle. But for me to be able to turn Crisco Kidd on, I'm going to a nightclub, I got a live broadcast, I'm doing this and that. For me to be able to listen to everyone present me a CD, not even a properly done CD for me to listen to, not even anything perfect, or to hear somebody that, why did the greatest rapper, while I'm broadcasting, I had to drink to be able to tolerate.
Yeah.
Oh.
That wasn't healthy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a cancer survivor. I had cancer in September of 24. And so to go through that and what my liver, they're like, man, you don't have cirrhosis of the liver, but your liver is pretty. And I'm like, damn, I was drinking a lot. Cancer was like one of those moments that really sat me down too.
Yeah.
A lot of the partying, just a lot of stuff that goes with it, man. But understanding, treat your body better now. You see, this week we've had 3 people die. I know one was by accident, you know, Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy Osbourne, battling Parkinson's, but like a lot of crazy stuff in entertainment, and Hulk Hogan.
This morning.
In WWE, talk about like a lot of, substances that people took, and whatever the case may be. I'm not diminishing anybody. Rest in peace to them all. And a fan of them all. But I think sometimes Eddie Guerrero, I had one night with him a couple months before he passed at a strip club. So you never know when conversations you can have in any club. One of the most meaningful conversations I had with him. Because he said, I've been through so much. I put my body through so much, from steroid use to different things and the partying and all this and that. And matter of fact, I remember looking at girls on stage. I remember all that. We were at this long table because the radio station, we had a remote there. It was after one of the WWE events that night. And I remember the wrestlers that were on the table, but it didn't matter. Me and Eddie were sitting right here just talking. And I think he was just like, kind of like from one Latino to another, man. It was just like, don't do this. Like, you don't have to. I wish I could do more with my body. I mistreated it for so long. And I heard it for that night. And I still try to keep it in. So I still, but then every once in a while you just go too hard sometimes. But I'll never forget how he was so passionate and adamant about treating your body better. Yeah. And then a couple months later he died. but I was grateful that I had that conversation. It wasn't an interview, it wasn't anything, but it was just, and I've had a lot of those conversations.
This is a moment, yeah.
Those are the ones that I keep with me. So DJs, treat your body better. You don't have to drink. Sober DJing is a thing now. If you don't want to drink, you don't have to drink or do any other type of whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And just know your worth. You don't have to compete with people undercutting you. When people talk about, wow, work until you can, sit at the table or, or walk into the room. You don't have to introduce yourself. All those are great. But sometimes we're trying to impress too many people at different tables or in different rooms. Now I'm trying to build my own house.
Facts.
If I don't want to sit at your table in your room, I'm building my house.
There we go.
Have that mentality.
There's a saying that I've learned. It says you could build the biggest building in town by tearing everyone else's down, or you could just build the biggest building in town.
Yeah. Right. Not to tear anybody down.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Well, man, this has been such a solid conversation.
I got one more thing.
All right, let's go.
Streaming. How do you feel about streaming nowadays as far as like DJing, streaming? Do you like as a radio host, a radio personality, you think they should go hand in hand, or like what are your thoughts on it? Like,
so streaming, do you mean like how T-Pain streams?
Yeah, like live streaming in general. Because I feel like live streaming in general in real life and just stuff like that is like becoming a thing. And I think artists are starting to pick up on it. And DJs are starting to do like their own sets and stuff like that.
I think it's the independent movement. Yeah. I think it's the independent movement.
Well, we have Futuristic on here as well.
Okay.
Last week?
Yeah.
And he spoke about the same thing, just streaming and music.
Yeah. I think it's good. Like we talked about as far as exposure, like, hey, do it for exposure. But if you're creating your own exposure, again, I said we all have access to the same platforms, right?
Yeah.
Then I think it's just giving you another platform to reach a different audience that you might not have had, right? So streaming really didn't become a thing until the pandemic, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So 2020, Twitch becomes like the streaming platform for DJs. People were doing fundraisers. You can drop I don't know what they call them, like the coins or whatever, like on Twitch or whatever, all the different platforms have, right? And so that is where it really, I know people were kind of doing it before, but not to the level of what you saw Zoom or any type of Twitch or any time, even YouTube Live now. Instagram Live, right? With D-Nice. I've had D-Nice on the show. You mentioned Gary Vee. Like I'm saying, I've had Gary Vee on the show a couple times. And I've been on his podcast, featured on his podcast. So this is kind of cool stuff. And understanding what stream or podcast or these types of platforms, this is the future. Yeah. And the smart, and I'm not calling anybody dumb, but I think that's the smarter opportunity or people that are taking advantage of that position is to be able to incorporate that in your show. But radio's been doing that for a long time. There was a platform called NetMeo back in the day where when I was at Univision, this one, I don't think it was Univision. This is probably like 1999, 2000. This is when chat rooms and kind of streaming started, or video cameras in radio stations started happening. So that streaming's been going on.
Yeah.
There wasn't a social media to go along with it. So you would go to the radio station's website and watch what was happening as the DJs, but that doesn't exist really anymore. Most companies, because they're syndicating. So there's nobody in the studio. So what are they going to have a camera on? Showing a board when somebody voice tracking their show from LA or New York or somewhere. So that's why you don't see it as much in radio stations anymore. You'll see individual shows doing it, but not the stations. But they've been doing that. So take advantage of the opportunity, whether you're a DJ, whether you're an on-air personality, because, and if you're not DJing the full hour set or whatever, people are doing like the quick 30-second minute things like on TikTok or whatever, where it's like, hey, these songs were big in 2007 or 10 years ago of this. And they'll just do doom, 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 doom. They run them so quick for A, they don't get flagged. But B, people's mindset, they just want to kind of hear the hook, go to the next one. And those are the ones, like my friend has got like, I forgot how many millions or billion club. He just, DJ Precise, he's on my show on SiriusXM on Saturdays. YouTube presented him with something just on his YouTube shorts. That's not even his TikTok following. But it's just those quick little things, so use them. I wish I could use them more. I'll probably start incorporating them more moving forward. But it's definitely something that I think every DJ or personality, anyone should be doing.
That's how to ask that. Because I was streaming.
Yeah, I mean, like, just to like finish it off, like realistic, my belief is we're going to see the change once the overall public understands that social media platforms, those are just the platforms. That's actually like the TV. And once they realize that our lives are the networks, then the whole switch is going to happen. It just really depends on how it is that you're showing up online. You said like live streaming and all that. What is stopping now a DJ personality to start his own YouTube channel? Hey, I'm going live every single day. Tune in on me. People now are able to just pop up YouTube, go to the, and they could just do it themselves.
We got something exclusive. So I've invested in a company.
Okay.
The people.
Okay.
I don't know how much I can speak about it, but I'll just say that I'll give you the name. It's called View It. That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
But it will be an opportunity for content creators, for businesses, doesn't matter the business that you're in or the type of content you create, that you will be able to have control over your own stream and your own content, your own analytics, everything, right? Because even though you do on Twitch and you might do on YouTube Live, whether it's your channel or you're streaming live, you don't necessarily own all of that content.
Yes.
This gives you the opportunity to where it is yours, right? And it can be whether you're a company, let's say if you're, let's just take a sports organization, for example.
Mm-hmm.
The sports organization can kind of have like their channel, but then every team can have their sub channel or their own little networks, and their players can have their channels as well. Mm-hmm. So, right, it's kind of like with radio stations. So this is the way that you can own all of that content. I don't want to give too much away.
Nope.
But this is a very important time for this. You can look out for more to start coming out. But there's already some movies that have kind of came out in some series.
Definitely going to have you back for you when you're able to speak on it and release the news.
I'd love to tell you who the investors are.
Okay.
Like, this is big.
Well, I'm going to put this in the air. NDO coming live to you from View It.
Yeah. You will love it. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Oh, we're here. We're signed up.
Yeah. Trust me.
Okay.
Trust me.
Okay. Yeah, we need to have a conversation for sure.
I'll show you
I'm
some
excited for this too.
And you'll be like,
Absolutely. Oh man, that's a great note. That's a great note to end it on, man.
That's a great wrap. Yes. Yes.
Thank y'all for having me.
Crisco. No, man.
I appreciate
thank
the conversation.
Absolutely.
I think we touched on a lot of different things.
Yeah,
I know.
Which is important because I do a lot of different things.
And we're also in a time crunch. We want to be mindful.
So
we want to be mindful of that as well.
We, like I told you, we want to represent you, Crisco, the person, not the DJ personality, not the political candidate, any of that. We want to see all levels of Crisco and show people like these things are attainable if you just stick to it, right?
Yeah. And just focus at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Consistency. Keep
Man,
showing up.
again,
Consistency and focus.
Thank you so much for making the time for us.
Thank you,
we
big dog.
appreciate it.
That was a great conversation, man. I was going to... Realistically, not only did I have a flat tire this morning, I was nervous as hell to meet him too. I'm like, God damn, you know.
Elon didn't help him with the tires.
Nah, man, damn drone didn't show up, man. I called it though,
Starlink.
And no, the conversation, man, it was such a pleasure, man.
Yeah,
it was such a pleasure, man. Really.
Absolutely. And for you guys at home, you know
the deal.
You know the deal. We want you right here with us. You know, every Sunday we're here.
Sunday vibes.
It's every
Clean the
Sunday,
house.
10 a.m. Phoenix time. You know, so the way you can be here and join us, go hit that subscribe button. You know, turn the notifications on, drop a comment. You know, we got people like Crisco in the building. So if you've got questions, we've got answers, man. Let us know what you like, what you love, what you don't. Give us a criticism. And, you know, for me and the team, see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.